Today, we're gonna be crocheting all of my scrap yarn. If you're new to my channel, my name is Tianey Assata, and this is gonna be part 4 of tackling our crochet yarn stash. Over here in the back, you can see this is our kind of organized crochet area, but on my desk here, we have a ginormous mess of crochet scraps. We have 1 basket, 2 baskets, 3 baskets, and 4 baskets all filled with scrap balls of yarn. I know this giant yarn mess looks absolutely crazy, but I do have my own crochet business, which is how I kind of accumulated so much yarn, so many different shades, different fibers, kind of this big yarn collection here. And I've been working my way through my yarn stash and bringing you guys along with me in different crochet challenge videos. And today we're going to be continuing our scrap yarn challenge, where we only crochet using our scrap yarn for an entire day. And in this part, I'm finally going to be taking your guys' suggestions and crocheting a scrap yarn sweater. I have been so against it. In all the other parts, we have just been crocheting a bunch of tiny little crochet projects, just getting a few skeins of yarn out of here and there. But today we're going to make an entire sweater, which should hopefully use up a big chunk of all of this scrap yarn mess. So you guys get the gist. Let's get into it and start picking out our scrap yarns. We're going into this with the plan. What I have learned from my previous crochet challenges is we need to plan what projects we're going to make ahead of time. So I've already decided to kind of slim down our crocheting options. We're going to be making a blue scrap yarn sweater. So we're going to pick out of all of these baskets specifically our blue shades of yarn, just so that this sweater kind of has a vibe to it and it's not just random funky colors. So let's get sorting and find all of our different shades of blue. We may even add some white or cream just as an accent color, just because I know I have a lot of those shades of yarn. As we find yarns, we're going to throw them in this orange basket. So this is going to be kind of our project basket for the day. We have cleared one of our baskets of all of the blue yarn. Alright, we got our full basket of blue scrap yarn. I even set aside a little section of just white scraps. So let's get our pattern and get to crocheting. So I'm going to be working in a kind of raglan style sweater. Since it is a scrap yarn sweater, I feel like raglan with open stitches kind of matches the vibes better, the kind of messy but cute vibes. We're going to be using a 7.75mm hook. I rarely go up this high in hook sizes. I usually stick to my 4.75, so this is a bit out of my comfort zone. And we're going to be working in treble crochets, again, as I said, to go for the really open stitch kind of raglan look. And I'm not exactly sure how cropped I want to go in this sweater, but I know with the treble crochets it is going to have a baggy look. And then I know for a fact I'm definitely going to add my signature kind of bell sleeves at the end. The only thing that I'm just not sure about yet is the length and how long I'm going to go for, but I'm sure we will have more than enough yarn to make a whole sweater, and it should probably work up pretty quick. So honestly, this may not be our only project of the video. I'm a pretty fast crocheter. I don't have the patience for super long projects, so I'm planning on working through this sweater pretty fast, just here in one sitting. Let's get started with our very first color. I'm kind of just gonna go for like a random vibe, just kind of stick my hand in there and grab a random yarn. Let's go with this one, this cute little teal color, and we're gonna start off with 57 chains. Usually when I make a raglan sweater, I go anywhere from 55 to 65 chains. And then as for our crochet entertainment of the day, I think I'm gonna start with just listening to some music. I've kind of been shuffling around through YouTube videos this morning and nothing is just catching my eye really, so I think I'm just gonna listen to some tunes. Now our big question is, when are we going to switch colors? Because we have scraps that are pretty big and then we have scraps that are super small, like only 1 or 2 stitches worth. So are we going to just crochet with one color until the entire scrap is gone and it'll look more color blocky? Or are we going to switch every row? I really don't know, because I just only did the chains and now I'm like, should I switch to a different color? Because this yarn still has a lot more stitches worth left in there. I'm leaning toward just doing one full row of each color and then switching the color. That's easier for me when I'm weaving in the ends, for one, and I think it'll just keep the distribution of the colors a bit more even. If we do come across a yarn that literally cannot last an entire row, if the scrap is just that small, then we will of course just change the color. But I think for now, we're just gonna do each color for one row. We've got our very first row done, and I just added on some stitch markers to mark where we will be increasing for all of the next upcoming rows. The increases are so it starts building over our shoulders here, and I'm going to do 6 rows rows before I mark off the holes for the sleeve. So we're just going to do 6 rows with 4 increases each.
So it's a specialty album. Time's already, I guess, because this next song is Coming Home. So sing along if you want.
How are we liking it, you guys? I don't know how I feel. I think we just gotta trust the process a little bit. This is literally only 3 rows in, but I don't know how I feel about the colors right now. I really don't. I don't know if the stripes are just too aggressive or if the colors are just too bright and in your face, but I really don't know how I feel. But the sizing is looking really good. The sizing is looking perfect. Let's just trust the process. We got a lot of more rows to go. This is only about 20 minutes of work. I can't really treble crochet that fast just because when you guys do see me crocheting really fast, it's the muscle memory of double crochets, 4.5mm hook, my usual 4-weight yarn, whereas this is size 7 treble crochets. It's not as muscle memory, so I'm kind of going a bit slower and watching my stitches a lot more, especially with the increases being in such random spots. I'm kind of looking for where the stitch marker is to put the increase at, so I'm honestly not going super speed mode like I usually do, but that's okay. Crocheting is not a race. Let's just trust the process, keep going. We have 3 more rows before we have to kind of separate off our armholes. And now we're just going to start working in the next row, but we are not going to add any increases. When we get to the stitch markers, we are going to chain 4 and kind of connect the armholes. So as you can see, it's kind of like laying on my armpits there, so we'll just make a little chain from front armpit to back armpit area, and then we'll start working on the arms and the body. We have our first sleeve done. We did 14 rows for the sleeve, and then I did 2 like little increase rows, so a slight flare sleeve, nothing too crazy. And now we're going to start the left sleeve. We're really running on hopes and dreams right now because I have not tried this on once. I did measure the sleeve so that I know it'll be the length of my arm, but other than that, really just hoping for the best and really trusting the process and trusting my crochet skills. But so far, it's really growing on me. I think whenever I make a sweater, once I add the sleeves, that's when it really comes to life. The beginning part is very trust the process, but the sleeves, they just really complement the look, really bring it to life. And I'm loving the neckline. I love the loose chains that I did, so it's kind of giving off the shoulder, open neck. I think that's super cute, but we'll see if it actually looks like that when I try it on. So now we're gonna be starting the left sleeve. I'm not sure exactly how long the right sleeve took, just because I was listening to music instead of like watching something, but I know I listen to a lot of music. Like a lot of it, I'm all musiced out. We're switching to Netflix. I'm going to be starting the 100. I don't know if I'll like it, but it was suggested in a comment, so I'm going to start it, see how I feel. It has 7 seasons, so that's a lot of crocheting, but I don't know if I'm going to enjoy the kind of survival outside, living outsideness of it, but we will see, and hopefully we'll watch that until we finish up our sweater. We have been working on this sweater for almost 5 hours now. Yes, I was taking breaks. I took lunch breaks, TikTok breaks, snack breaks, all of that. But in general, I've been working on this one singular project today for 5 hours. Crazy. But we've just now finished our second sleeve. We had to frog the entire sleeve once because I did pretty much all the rows, and then I folded it in half to see if it matched my first sleeve, and it was way bigger. So I had to frog it all, do some decreases, and then remake the whole sleeve. So that wasted some time. But now we have 2 whole sleeves, and we just have a few rows of the body. I decided I'm going to go for a cropped sweater look. Our 3 kind of length options was to keep it like this, kind of like a shrug, or make it a crop top, or just make it a full-on back baggy sweater, and I decided I'm just going to add 3 more rows over what it already has now, and then I will finally try it on and see if I like the fit, and then I'll make any last minute adjustments. But for now, this is what we're looking like. I like it. I'm not mad at it. I do like the colors and I do like the shape. All right, let's finally try this sweater on. Here is what she looks like on. I don't know how I feel. I don't know if I should make it longer or not, honestly. I definitely like the fit, but it's a few more rows longer than a shrug, but a few rows shorter than a usual crop sweater. So I don't know. And the sleeves, I know I need the sleeves to be at least 1 more row longer for a bit more flare, but I really don't know what to do with the body here. But she's so cute so far. I'm so surprised. For our arm sleeves, for our last couple rows, I decided I'm going to add a little trim of this fuzzy kind of scrap yarn. This way you can make the arms a little bit longer as well as a little bit more flary vibes, and it'll just give a cute little detail to finish it off. And then as for the body, I've already added on 1 more row. I think we might need 1 more. I'm not sure if I want to add the same fuzzy trim around the actual body part as I'm doing on the sleeves, so I'm just going with vibes, just going with the flow right now. Our sweater is finally done, you guys. It turned out so cute. So I did end up adding our fuzzy fur yarn as a trim around the cuffs and around the waistband here, and ignore the little ends that I have not weaved in yet, just pretend they're not there. But the sleeves, they aren't as flared as I was expecting or wanted them to be, but they're not super fitted, so I still think they're cute. And I am honestly happy that I went with the crop. I think cropped or full length, it still would have been super cute, so I'm not mad about it. And I paired it with just a little white tank top underneath just to make the blue colors pop, and I am just so happy with how it turned out. I rarely wear my own crochet projects like out and about, but this one, I think it's so cute and so comfy, and I just want to keep it on all day. And it was a really good use of a bunch of our scrap yarn, but we still have so much of this blue and white yarn left. So I'm thinking to use up some more of this blue scrap yarn. We're going to make some scrap yarn cat beanies because someone did suggest that in one of my other YouTube videos. Someone commented to make some color schemed scrap cat beanies. So we're going to stick to the blue color scheme we got going on here and make a couple more projects just to bust through a bit more of this yarn. We're going to follow the same technique as just pulling a random little ball of yarn out and doing 1 row of each color. I do have a cat beanie tutorial on my channel, so I'll try to link it in the cards or in the description, but I use a 4.5mm hook. A cat beanie is pretty simple, so obviously the more rows, the more chains you do, the baggier and cozier it would be, and the less you do, the more fitted it will be. So super easy peasy pattern. I work in double crochets, but you can make it in single, half double, double. I wouldn't recommend treble, but you could if you wanted to. It's a super easy project, and they're also super quick since I do work in double crochets, so I should be able to make a few. You know, sweaters, those are a bit time consuming, but cat beanies, I should be able to bust out a few in 1 day.
Where's the time? Wait. I was leaving the clinic and he has the assistant.
This isn't gonna last.
Alright y'all, I actually ended up hopping on YouTube Live. It is Sunday, so I decided to hop on live and continue our crocheting. Here's what we've worked on so far. So we made 1 blue scrap yarn cat beanie. This one we were going for kind of the same random look, so I was just randomly pulling a yarn out of the bucket, and this is the look we got. And then I started a second one, but for this one I'm going for more of a pattern, so following the order of the colors, because these 3 colors here, I have a lot of these shades in scrap yarn and scrap balls, so I knew for a fact I can make a whole hat just out of these 3 colors. But I hopped off live. We were on for a bit over 100 minutes. Hi to everyone who was on the live. I'm glad you made it to the video. So now we're off the live. I'm gonna get back to watching the 100. It's been really good. Whoever suggested that, thank you. You had a vision, because I really do like this show, and we're a little over halfway done with this hat already, so not much longer to go. We have finished our 2 scrap yarn cat ear beanies. So we have one with the randomized stripes and then one with the pattern of stripes. The first one I made is a bit more oversized, a bit more comfy cozy look, and this one is a bit more fitted size. Now we have 2 hats to match our scrap yarn sweater. I absolutely love all the scrap yarn projects we ended up making. I'm going to try to get all of these listed on my Etsy shop as soon as possible for you guys, so you can get either style of the blue cat beanies or you can get our beautiful scrap yarn sweater. I'm so proud of it. I've been getting really fast and really good at making sweaters. I can freehand them a lot easier than I used to be able to. But now I think that it's going to be it for this part of our scrap yarn stash busting challenge. We obviously have a tons more yarn to crochet and get through, so there will definitely be more parts to come, more challenge videos to come to really get through our whole yarn stash. But this part of our series mainly tackled our blue scrap yarns, and we really did get through a good amount of tiny little scrap skeins. Blue yarn is honestly not something that I pick for often, so I'm glad we stuck to a theme so that we can make some cute projects as well as get rid of some yarn that I don't use often. So that is gonna be it for today's video. Again, if you guys want any of these projects, they are available on my Etsy shop, and you can use code YouTube for 20% off your order. And if you guys want to check out any of the other scrap yarn challenge videos we've done, you can click on this playlist right over here. And that's gonna be it for today's video. Bye, love ya, toodles.